Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to Jargon Free Help. Well, after last week talking about Spotify, which is used to get free music, Lawrence from Check Music Direct, and his website is checkeverything.co.uk, that's check CZECH. He said to me, these free ones are all well and good, but you don't necessarily get very good quality, and also you are limited by what you can listen to. He did point out if you want good quality and to be able to listen to it anywhere, you need to download it. And for that you need something like iTunes, and there are others as well doing this, like Amazon, where you can get MP3 files as well for your music. And also, it does actually support the music industry a little bit more, and then we can get some good quality music. So much for X Factor. Anyway, this week I want to talk to you about external hard drives, and many of you have asked me, how do I know what size hard drive to get? Well, basically, a good idea is just to get the biggest one that you can afford. They do come in different sizes. Some of them are portable, like this, so they don't actually need a power supply, and you should check that. And then you've got this one here, which is a desktop one. You can see it's quite big, and actually it also needs a power supply for it to work. But the capacity of these are generally higher, and they're also a bit cheaper than these ones as well. But these are convenient. One thing I do want to point out about having external hard drives, or any hard drive for that matter, they do have limited lives on them. So if you've got an external hard drive and you're putting all your photos on there, you know, a really good tip is to have two of them. Don't keep them together. However, one of them can fail, and then what are you going to do? I hope I haven't just jinxed myself there, but it's really important. You do need two of them, really, if you're going to have safe backups. Most people are using them to back up their photos and their music. Now, photos clearly are precious and they're hard to replicate as well. So I suggest getting two of these. They have come down substantially in value. The advantage to having external hard drives is that you can actually plug them in onto any computer. So you can actually even have them between a Mac and a PC as well. They are good for backing up, and you can keep stuff on your computer and back up to here as well. You can lock these away, or you can put them in a different location. So don't keep them at home, keep them somewhere else. That way if something happens, you've got them, all the data readily available somewhere. The other thing is, you do also want to consider is if your computer or laptop has got FireWire instead of USB. On this one it does actually have a FireWire port. FireWire generally is faster than USB. Some people will tell you that they're the same speed. However, FireWire can do more sustained high speed than USB. So just to give you an idea, if you're thinking, well, I don't really want to spend too much, it is for my photographs, how am I going to know what's a good size hard drive to get? Well, this is a compact flash card used in some cameras. You do actually have SD cards which are used in more. This is a 1 GB card, so it stores 1 GB of photos. So if you want to know how big a hard disk to get, if you were to get something like a 320 GB hard drive, you'll be able to get 320 of these onto that hard drive. That's a lot. So if you're thinking, well, I go through one of these a month, that's still 320 months. Maybe you only go through one of them every year, in which case it's 320 years. I can assure you your hard drive is probably not going to last that long. Hard drives and things like this still should be handled with care. Static, dropping them, well, these are pretty safe. I wouldn't suggest going and dropping them. Also, if these don't fit in something, don't force it. Hard drives, you do still need to be a little bit careful with them. They are making solid state drives, which are effectively hard drive versions of these. So they've got no moving parts, they're faster and less likely to get damaged as well. So have a look around, go with the decent brand. Lassie, Western Digital, Seagate, a lot of them out there, very good quality. Get them from a reputable supplier as well. They're well worth it, but look out for the things like, do you want it to be portable? Do you want it on your desk? Are you using it for a major backup? You might want to back up your entire machine. You might want something with terabytes. If you are using video, you should really consider about getting the highest spec drive that you can. And they're not cheap. And Hitachi do the G-Safe drives and the G drives. They're very good for video. Portable, they are a bit more expensive, but video probably even harder to recreate than photos themselves. So that's what you should be getting if you're looking for external hard drives. Great for backing up. I have to say to you, Many of you don't back up. You really should. And very shortly in a podcast, I'm going to go through backing up. And this is why you'll probably realize why I'm getting you to look at these external hard drives, why I've talked about things like Dropbox. It's because I'm going to be getting on to backing up and actually how to do it. And it's something you really must do. The single most important bit of maintenance you do on your computer is backing up. Then virus checking. They're very, very close. Anyway, that's it for external hard drives, and now on to this week's app of the week. Well, this week's app of the week is actually something called Dictation, and what it's meant to do is you're meant to dictate into your phone, and it is available on the computer as well, and it's meant to effectively type it out for you. Now, I tried this and I'm still not convinced. I actually tried to dictate, "Hi, I'm Gary and welcome to Jargon Free Help." And this is what it came up with. Not very impressed. However, other people are swearing by it. This possibly just needs to get used to my voice and the way that I speak, and then it might actually improve. You're meant to correct these kind of things. I have to say, if you know someone who is particularly slow typist or someone with a disability, this is probably a really, really good idea for them. It's probably quicker for them to go through and actually make corrections than it is to type out the whole document or email. So that's Dictation, definitely worth checking out. And now on to this week's new tutorials. Well, this week I've covered Excel data validation. What it does is it makes sure that you put in values into a spreadsheet and they conform to what you want. So you basically tell it that a particular cell needs to be in a particular range of numbers, it needs to be a date, it needs to be time, it needs to be text, and that stops problems occurring. So if I tell it to put in a range of numbers from 0 to 100 and someone puts one outside of that, it's going to come up with a message saying that's incorrect, and you can have a message come up telling you what to do with it. I'm also going to be doing some combining a bit more of the VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP has proven to be incredibly popular, so I'm going to be combining that with the drop-down list that I covered recently to show you how you can use the two together, and also how to use more than one column, well actually more than two columns, in a VLOOKUP too. Don't forget, these are for you, so if you want to know more, please contact me via the website and I'll try to answer them on these podcasts. I hope you appreciate I can't reply to all the emails, there are just far too many of them. But if you think this is useful, then please pass it on to somebody. Thanks for watching, see you next week, and happy computing.